There's nothing worse than playing an incredible point of tennis and then blowing it and beating yourself in the end. So in this special strategy analysis lesson, I'm going to show you the 5 top ways that tennis players beat themselves and end up giving away free, easy points. And we're going to be diving into some match play thanks to Tennis Troll channel on YouTube. He gave me permission to go ahead, go through his videos and pick out some amateur footage. So if you appreciate all of these players for putting themselves out there, and for Tennis Troll channel for putting those videos together and publishing them, please go ahead and give a like to this video. And if you enjoy these strategy breakdowns, give us a like as well. So these 2 players, great players, both of them, by the way, fantastic. We're going to show some ways that they can improve. But really respect and honor and appreciate these players for putting themselves out there, recording the footage, posting it online. Let's go through this first analysis point, and I'll go ahead and play it through first so you can see what happens here. This first element that we're going to look at is a positioning element. Tennis players are constantly putting themselves in the wrong place to cover shots, and as a result, they leave open easy targets for their opponents, beating themselves. So right here, as this person gets ready for the passing shot attempt, So right here, as this person lines up after hitting that drop shot attempt, watch when he makes his split step. Right here, he's balancing himself for this potential passing shot, for this passing shot attempt. And I want you to look at his position. He's right in the center of the service box. Now, he obviously knows that when you're at the net, you're supposed to position yourself on the same side of the court as the ball, and that's correct. But he's got too much of a good thing. He's over-covered and left himself really exposed on the backside. If he just puts his hand out, if he just extends his racket out to the right, he's got this entire target closed down, no problem. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the court, he's left this much court available. And a really critical principle is you always want to put yourself roughly in the middle of the possible shots from your opponent. And so by positioning himself too far on the side he's supposed to be on, he left himself really exposed and left an easy shot for his opponent to go ahead and hit that passing shot. So I call this over-covering. He's got the right idea, but he's going too far. And this is a really common problem for tennis players. Where he should be, if we clear this off, he absolutely should be on the same side of the court as the ball, but probably more around in this position right here, slightly staggered over to the same side. But he passes that up and goes another 3 or 4 feet to his right, and it leaves himself really exposed on this side of the court. So that's mistake number 1. I wanted to show you a baseline example of over coverage as well. Watch this point here, return a serve. And then this player in orange just kind of gets yanked back and forth. And the reason why he gets yanked back and forth is after the return, he's got the right idea. On the baseline, you want to be positioned on the opposite side of the court. At the net, you want to be on the same side of the court as the ball was on. On the baseline, you should be on the opposite side. Don't have time in this lesson to get into it. We'll link to a video down below that shows the geometry of the court and where you should stand. But you want to be across from where the ball is, and the ball is slightly over on the ad side, on the other side of the court. So this player should be positioned on the ad side, but he's put himself way too far over to the left. After his return of serve, his ideal position, because the ball is slightly on the ad side, he should also be slightly on the ad side. So his position should probably be somewhere about here. After his return of serve, he actually pushes himself back to the left again. And so what is he covering? He's covering, I can't even mark there. He's covering something over on this side of the court, and he's left exposed this entire half of the court. And so he hasn't split the difference for his opponent. He's left his opponent a wide open shot to be able to target. And that puts him on the run. And once he gets on the run, his opponent just kind of keeps him on that yo-yo and just kind of yanks him back and forth. And so he's giving his opponent big open targets to keep him on the defense. Way number 2 that tennis players beat themselves is by undercovering. We just saw 2 examples of overcovering and being too far on the side you want to be on. Here's an example of somebody not covering the side of the court that they should, leaving themselves exposed. So again, remember, When you're at the net, you want to be on the same side of the court as the ball. When you're on the baseline, you want to be on the other side of the court. So when a shot gets targeted on the deuce side, on your opponent's side of the court, where should your position be? You also want to be on the deuce side. So where his opponent is making contact here, right there, the person in the orange shirt, here's the hash mark right here, he should be ideally someplace over right about there, so that he splits the difference of this down the line shot, which is straight, and this cross court shot, which is crooked. It travels away from the center of the court. So he should be slightly staggered over to the deuce side. Instead, he's slightly staggered to the ad side. So when this pretty routine cross court shot gets hit, he just gets frozen there and he's not able to cover the shot. So this player, you can see, just kind of has issues with knowing where to stand. You can tell he has some ideas about where the right place is. Sometimes he's over covering, other times he's under covering, and that just gives easy points away to his opponent. He's beating himself with those positioning mistakes. Let's change gears now and talk about the player in blue. And this point, at first glance, you're probably going to say to yourself, Ian, why in the world are you looking at this point? Like, this looks pretty fantastic. Player in blue hits two kind of crushing down the line shots, and that's why we're talking about it. These shot selections are very high risk and leaving very low margin. This first one in particular, look at the ball crossing the net by, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 inches or so, and landing inside the line by a couple feet. And that might sound like a lot, like 6 inches and a couple feet, but that's tiny, tiny margins. And margins that most tennis players cannot maintain over the course of an hour and a half or 2 hours of playing tennis. So he makes this first one, and I mean, great shot. I'm not trying to take anything away from the shot making and the ball striking. Great shot. But going down the line over and over again with this narrow of a margin inside the line, I mean, this ball lands maybe a foot or two from the baseline. So having that be kind of your standard and having that be your expectation means that all of a sudden you're putting upon yourself this pressure to hit these incredible shots after incredible shots. And something that is kind of deceptive about videos like this is a highlight video. If you go watch the raw video, you'll see 6 minutes of points like these that end with somebody making a winner. And that's out of an hour and a half or 2 hour long match where the vast majority, the bulk of points are ending with one of these players making an error. But we don't see those in the highlight video. And so, nothing against the Tennis Troll channel or anybody else who posts highlights, that's fine. But you have to keep in mind the reality that most points in tennis end with a mistake. Even at the professional level, most points end with an error of some kind. And so watching this, you might be thinking this player in blue probably is thinking to himself, yeah, like awesome, like great points. But the reality is, you don't want to have to make those types of shots over the course of a whole match in order to win the match. Let's look at another quick example from the player in orange. Here's another analysis example, same kind of scenario, where this time the player in orange is dictating play, and he's doing so by hitting shots with razor thin margins. It's like both of those shots, I'm just thinking like, as the ball is traveling through the air, because I know it is 50-50 on both shots. Like it could float just a little bit outside the bounds of the court on either shot. And these aren't bad shots. They're not even necessarily bad shot selections, but there's no built-in margin for error. And so if I was coaching a player who point after point, his shots were landing, right there and then right there, we would definitely be talking about shot selection. Now, I didn't have the luxury of being able to watch the entire match, so I don't know. But if I were to watch the whole match, I'd be really curious to see how many shots ended up missing by a foot in the alley or a foot past the baseline, because these players are kind of duking it out and hitting back and forth. Don't want to take away from the shot hitting at all, or the ball striking or the shot making at all. But a lot of times we over-focus on the winners and we forget all of the errors that piled up in order to get that winner. And that's a huge way tennis players beat themselves. So that's why we're talking about it right now. If you're loving these analysis videos and you want to improve your game, go check out Essential Tennis Academy. We have a free trial right now where you can check out the whole members area. It's the most complete, comprehensive online system of tennis learning on the internet. Just go to essentialtennisacademy.com and sign up for your free trial. Way number 4 that tennis players beat themselves really, really frequently is by going for impossible shots from impossible positions. And we're going to see a prime example of that here. Although the result is going to end up being good for the player in the blue, both these guys do a great job here setting up the point, playing high percentage shots, and then right here, you see this like highlight type shot followed by another highlight shot. And again, most of the internet is going to be confused that I'm using this example to talk about how players beat themselves because he won the point. And this is a pattern I need to address. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but in the comments below these analysis videos, a really common comment has been, but Ian, you didn't show us the rest of the points. I'm kind of pausing, showing a specific example of positioning or target selection, and then saying this is the way you want to do it or this is the way you don't want to do it. And then I just kind of leave it at that. And people are obsessed about seeing what the resulting outcome is. But good shot selection is good shot selection whether you win the point or lose it. And poor shot selection is poor shot selection whether you win the point or lose it. And knowing the difference between the two is a critical difference between players who win a ton and players who beat themselves a ton. So anytime you're in this type of position where this player is stepping straight across in a closed stance, both feet outside the singles court, and trying to hit a shot from this kind of position, this kind of balance, mostly in the alley until right at the end there it falls in play. This is an incredibly difficult shot. And kudos to him for making it. I mean, an incredible make. But even though he made it, look at the kind of position that he's in. Because he went from way out of position off the court and hit down the line, he leaves himself very, very exposed on the next shot. Now his opponent has his strength going on a high percentage pattern to an open court away from him, and he's got to run clear across to the other side of the court. So he's committed the triple whammy that we've talked about in previous analysis videos. But kind of to make matters worse, not only does he not lose the point, but he goes to all that trouble of getting this shot and then like whips a shot cross court for a winner. And so this is the type of scenario where you at home, you're going to be tempted to watch highlights like this and think to yourself, yes, that's the answer. I need to hit a shot from off the court with my backhand down the line and hook it just inside the court, and then go on a full run all the way across the court and hit a sharp angle reverse forehand winner. And that is not how you should be trying to win your points. Again, not taking anything away from this player in the blue for his shot making, incredible shots and great point, great win. But if that is the framework in your mind that you're trying to follow, you're going to beat yourself at tennis a lot. You're going to miss the first shot a lot. And even if you make the first shot, you're going to miss the second shot a lot. And what we don't see in a highlight clips like this on the internet is all the misses. We don't see all the unforced errors. So it can be very deceptive, and it can be easy to fall in the trap of trying to make shots like this point after point after point and thinking that that's good tennis. Way number 5 that tennis players beat themselves all the time is by not giving themselves enough time when they need it. Watch this point. Really solid down the line backhand here from the player in blue, low percentage, but made it. And the player in orange gets to that shot, goes to the trouble of running it down, but then just hits a standard rally ball back. Let's watch a replay of that. So here's that kind of laser down the line after the return of serve. Here's the attacking shot down the line. No margin for error there, by the way, but great make. Now, here's the thing. This player in orange needs to realize that he's in a really compromised, difficult position. He's on the full run. He's crossing over. He's not going to recover to the court anytime soon. He's really just kind of happy to get here. And what does he do with the ball? He knows he should be thinking in the back of his mind, oh no, I'm in a lot of trouble and I need a lot of time to get out of this trouble. To dig myself out of this hole, I need time. He's going to have to take another 3-4 steps before he can even start to get back into the court again. And so it would be nice if he gave himself time by hitting with a lot of height and a lot of depth to neutralize the points. But instead, what he does is he hits a pretty standard rally ball, that only clears the net by about 2 feet, maybe 3 feet or so. And so the ball gets to his opponent before he can even get back inside the singles court. He's just about outside the doubles court, and his opponent is getting ready to hit the next shot again. And so this sets him up in a very, very difficult position. Now, would he have for sure won the point if he lofted the ball up into the air and neutralized the point? Who knows? But he gives himself a much better chance. By just slapping kind of a normal neutral rally ball, he takes time away from himself and keeps himself in a very difficult position and keeps himself behind in the point for the rest of the point. There he buys himself some time on the next shot, and he buys himself some time there, but it's a little bit too little, a little bit too late. The first domino has already pushed. He's already in scramble mode, going back and forth. His opponent has him on the ropes, and he never gets off the ropes again. His opponent just kind of keeps his foot on the gas. So big thumbs up here if you appreciate these two for battling it out, posting it online, allowing us to watch, allowing us to critique their play. Do me a favor and click like, show them some love, and also be sure to subscribe to Tennis Troll channel. Really appreciate what he's doing, putting out all this great footage of amateur players. Thank you for watching. Let me know, what would you like me to cover in the next analysis lesson like this? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So far, we're keeping up the streak of different face for every video.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, yeah, try like.
Good.